Not long ago, deep in the Appalachian wilds, a group of drunken misfits joined forces to play Dungeons and Dragons. Inspired by boredom and equipped with loose morals and a questionable understanding of the rules, our heroes venture forth to explore strange, new lands. So gather up your dice, your manuals, and your livers, and join us on a quest as we make absolute fools of ourselves. This is Botched, a D&D podcast.
Previously on Botched.
It sure is comfy being slung over this horse.
Welcome back, listeners, to the 33rd episode of our 7th season. Thanks so much for tuning in again. It is 33rd, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Horse slinging.
Just double checking again. As you could tell, we are joined by Steven. Anyone listening to this can't tell, but we are actually joined in studio by Steven.
Tristan is touching me.
He is.
He's real.
He's touching him. So we're going to start this episode off by having everyone but Jenna leave.
I got excited.
Steve is here.
Fuck.
Everyone get the fuck out.
Steve is here. Now,
Good.
Steve,
Want to
leave.
see how much tequila I can drink? DamnYouDentist.com.
Felita, I need you to roll me a con check.
Okay. Good news, that's a nat 20.
Okay. So you come too. You feel as though you are bound. There's definitely a sack over your head. And you can hear a lot of noise. You hear, it sounds like there have to be dozens and dozens of people all around you. And you can definitely make out the sound of Smiling Tom's voice fairly close by. And you can also hear, what the fuck is his name? Admiral Gizzard talking to Smiling Tom. And they're talking about, basically Smiling Tom is congratulating him on finally, making him mortal or whatever, and then gives him the option to go the fuck back in the cave, which he does. And then you hear a loud explosion, and the rocks collapse. And then you hear Smiling Tom thank somebody. Roll me a perception check.
Okay. That's a 16.
Okay. So you are better at hearing than Phil is at seeing, because he could not roll a perception check to detect who this person is. But the voice you hear answer back to Smiling Tom, you recognize as being none other than the mayor of the dwarf town.
That son of a bitch.
And he's just like, yeah, Mr. Tom, mm-hmm. And I mean, you said they won't trouble us anymore, right? They won't come back to town and make things worse than they already are. Smiling Tom's just like, you have my word. None of them are ever coming back to your town. But for your sake, I would say you should probably leave town anyways, because, you never know. But take your life in your own hands. And then you hear the sound of a whoosh, and then a ka-chink. So it sounds like somebody tossed a bag of coins to the said dwarf. And then you hear a horse ride off real fast. And then Smiling Tom gives out some orders. All right, boys, let's head back to town. Let's figure out what to do next. And he goes, yeah! Fires a shot in the air, and all the horses go crazy, and it sounds like everyone starts to ride away in a particular direction. Is there anything you want to do while this is happening? Like, while the riding is happening, or you just want to wait things out and see what happens?
I want to pay attention to where it feels like we're going.
Okay.
But other than that, yeah, I just kind of want to see where we're going.
Roll me a nature check.
+1 to nature. Okay. That's a 7.
You are not, you have no idea which direction you're going in, because you have a sack over your head, you're slung over a horse, you're bouncing around constantly, and it's just a lot of noises in the background, so you can't actually figure out which direction you're going, but you do ride for what feels like about 4 hours, I would say. So there's only a certain number of places you could get to in 4 hours. Like 3. There's like 3 places you get to. It could be Winchester, it could be Unforgiven, or it could be Yuma. Yuma would be unlikely because that's where the Sky Gina is located, or the Skunt, if you will.
I won't.
Okay. So yeah, so you're pretty sure it's either Unforgiven or Winchester, And knowing Smiling Tom's, hideout is in Unforgiven, your money's probably on you being in Unforgiven.
Okay.
So the riding slows a little bit, and it's now more of a quick gallop as opposed to just a full-on sprint of these horses. And it doesn't sound like the men are talking too much. They're keeping pretty quiet. You hear some whispers here and there, but obviously, they're not full-on having conversation or anything like that. It's a pretty quiet ride. You get to town, you hear Smiling Tom say, "All right, well, you boys do whatever it is you'd like. We're going to have a meeting in, a couple hours, I would say. So be ready to meet me in my place in about 3 hours' time. And then we'll discuss on, what we're doing next. Oh, and boys, don't get any ideas. I'm still Smiling Tom." And then you hear, just a couple of moments later, it sounds like everyone scatters pretty quickly. And then it just sounds like it's you and maybe 2 or 3 other horses riding. And then it sounds like they come to a complete stop. It sounds like they hitch up the horses. And then you hear a door open. So you definitely feel as though you've been picked up and you're slung over somebody's shoulder and you're being moved in a direction, but you do not know where. Are you doing anything at this point?
Yeah, actually. I'm gonna cast Sending.
Okay. What does that do?
I can send a short message to anybody that I know.
Okay. Is
Anyone I'm familiar with.
Is that like a psychic
or creature.
thing? Is that like a...
Yeah.
Okay. So you're telepathically sending a message.
Well, no, it has to be verbal. So,
Okay.
so actually, yeah, out loud, I'm gonna say, while doing the spell, I'm gonna say, "Well, I guess we're in Unforgiven, ain't we, Tom?"
Who are you sending this message to?
I'm gonna send it to the Admiral.
Okay. Normally, when you've cast this spell, you feel as though something leaves you. Whereas it feels like you're just... Instead, it almost feels like you bump your head into a wall. Like, you don't physically, but it just feels like your message isn't... Like, the person you're speaking to doesn't exist.
Oh, no.
Which typically only happens when they're dead, for you anyways.
Oh,
so
no.
You're not 100% sure what's going on. But you say that. Say the line again for me.
I guess we're in Unforgiven, ain't we, Tom?
Felita. You're always a smart one. I'll give it to you there. But yes, we are in Unforgiven. And he pulls the thing off your head. Your hair is all messy a little bit. And he just sort of like leans his head down to talk to you. And he's just like, "You and I have a lot to talk about. So we're going to get you your own private room. And then we're going to have a little chit-chat." And then he motions off to the side. And... now that the sack's off your head, you can see you're being slung over the shoulder of one individual, and there seems to be 2 other individuals with them. They're kind of beefy. One of them's dragonborn, one of them's a dwarf, and the other one's like a half-orc, looks like. And so the 3 of them are... You are in a... It's an open room, almost looks like a foyer of some sort, and there's a door off to the right and a door straight ahead. Is what it looks like. So they take you to the right, and then that leads to a set of stairs. Now, as soon as the door opens and he starts going down the stairs, you see there's some sconces on the wall, so it's a little darker. And it's just these wooden stairs, tromp, tromp, tromp down the stairs. And, it's a fairly decent number of stairs. I would say it's probably about 50 feet down or so. And down here, everything is like a darker stone, whereas upstairs, it was like a very nice wood with a nice finish, and there's artwork on the walls. It's very much fancier. It's much more fanciful. Down here, it seems like a kind of a standard dungeon of sorts. He takes you down a long staircase, and then it opens up into what looks like a guard barracks with dozens of cots. Some guards in there sleeping, some of them playing cards, and some of the other ones getting ready for, you're guessing, some sort of patrol. And then walks through the other side of the guard room. Takes you down another long hallway, and then swings left. There's another long hallway, and you can see at the very end of the hallway there seems to be some sort of room. Roll me a perception check to see if you can make anything out.
Okay. 19.
You could see what looks to be blood draining into a drain in the floor, and you can see that there's like a torture rack up against the wall of where you can see. So your guess is the room is probably some sort of torture room, and it opens up to the left. And he's walking you in that direction before suddenly taking the left and entering into what appear to be cells. And he walks you 2 cells in on the left, opens the door, and plops you in there, and then closes the door behind him. And they lock it up, and they head out. Now, from what you could see, just sort of being sprawled out in here, you could see that some of these cells have other people in them, though not too many. And a lot of these cells have corpses in them. So some of them look like they were beat to death. Some of them look like they succumbed to wounds of some type. And others just look like they were just left down here for a long period of time and starved to death. So it seems like there's quite a few different ways for people to die down here. But yeah.
All right.
So they drop you there, and they're like, "Smiling Tom will be with you shortly." And he just closes the door, walks away. And you notice that there are 2 guards at either end of this celled area. So there are 2 at the entrance, and then at the far end, it's a solid wall, and you see 2 guards standing over there as well. You're still tied up, though you're more than welcome to try and get out of your bonds.
Yeah, I'm going to roll back, like on my back onto my shoulders, and try and push my arms up over my butt.
Roll me. Let's go acrobatics.
Okay. That's a 12.
Okay, so you feel like you loosen them a little bit, but you're kind of just getting stuck in there. You're not really making a whole lot of headway.
Short arms, big butt. Got it. I understand these struggles. I'm gonna look around the cell to see if there's anything that I can like rub against, like if there's a sharp bar or something that I can cut these ropes with.
Sure. Rolling perception.
Okay. I was hoping you'd say. That's a 17.
Okay. So you look around, and it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of anything in this cell. There does seem to be a bench along the back, but you do spot a little glint, a little twing of a nail sticking out one side of the bench, just a little bit, like an inch or so. It looks like the wood is maybe rotted away a bit and left an old rusty nail, open to the air. So you do see that there is a sharp nail that you could probably use to cut at some of these ropes.
Yeah, I'm going to go over and start trying to rub against that nail and get untied.
Now, do you just want to do it?
I guess, over.
Do you want to just do it as fast as you can, or do you want to be sneaky about it?
No, I want to do it as fast as I can.
Okay.
Do you need a roll for that?
No. It's fine. The guards didn't hear it. So, yeah. So, you do. You snap, and the ropes split apart around your wrists. So now your arms are free.
All right. I'm going to go. Are my feet free?
No, your feet are tied.
I'm going to untie my feet.
Okay. So you take the time, untie the rope. Cool beans. So now you got some ripped rope and some whole rope in the cell with you as well. But yeah, so now you're just in this cell.
Sweet.
You can hear, it's like a cacophony of moans and groans and coughing, and just sounds pretty miserable down here. And then you can hear some drips from somewhere. You don't see any water, but it sounds like there's like an echo of dripping noises. And it looks like there's a drain or a few drains in the middle of the area between the cells. And it seems like that's just where liquids go. Could be blood. You notice that mostly it's piss and shit. So this area has just a kind of a funky smell to it.
Okay. I'm going to walk up to the bars.
Okay.
And sort of press my head against it and look around and try and see how many people are up on their feet.
Okay. So you glance around and you see that there are 4 living people in here. Only one of them is up on their feet, pacing around the cell. The other ones are either laying down or curled up or just sitting along the back wall or something like that. But there do seem to be 4 living individuals. There's 2 cells to your left, and then the rest are on the opposite side of the cells.
Okay.
If you need to know exactly which cells those people are in, I can tell you.
No. Okay. All right, is it all within about 30 feet of me?
No. So if you go further so you're pretty much all the way on the one end of the cells, and it appears as though there are 10 cells. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna say these cells are about 5 foot by 5 foot. So, you can just. I would say that the last living person is just around 30 feet away from you.
Okay, cool.
Borderline.
Then Felita's gonna reach out and start snapping to get some attention and be like, hey, how long does it normally take that bastard to come down here?
So your snapping gets their attention, but also gets the guards' attention. And they're like, hey, shut it. No talking.
Fuck off. I ain't talking to you.
Walks over with a billy club. You will say that again?
Fuck off. I ain't talking to you.
Are you backing away from the bars?
Oh, yeah, I'm not near the bar now,
Okay.
no.
And the guy goes to reach for his keys, and the other guy's like, we can't do that. Tom's coming back down here. You can't. Maybe when, after Tom's had his fun, that we could do something. But not right now. You just gotta have to deal with it. The guy's like,
Yeah.
grumble, and he fucking puts his keys away. And then he fucking gives you a glare, staring at you. And then he
Going back to your perch, little birdie. Go on.
he fucking just shimmies on over back to his spot, and he's just staring at you. So he's standing at his post, but he's just staring at you. Squinted eyes, just like, I'm gonna fucking beat the shit out of you, son of a bitch.
Come and get some.
The gentleman, there's somebody who is, it's not on the opposite side, but so it's not exactly opposite from you. It's like opposite from you and one cell over. And they just whisper, and they're just like, don't piss off the guards. It'll make it worse for you.
I don't care if it makes it worse for me.
No, you do. They'll break every bone in your body. They won't kill
All
you.
right.
They won't kill you. They'll just break you. Don't antagonize them.
I don't give a fuck.
You should give a fuck. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna make you into a fucking canoe or some shit. I don't know. I've seen fucked up things down here.
They've already done worse. It's fine.
What do you mean they done worse? You look just fine.
I didn't.
What do you mean I didn't? What does that even mean?
I was dead. They killed me.
Oh, okay. You're delusional. Okay, I got it. I understand.
Yeah.
You lost your fucking
Yeah.
mind. All right. Well,
How long does it normally take him to come down here?
what? Hey, I don't need you talking to me through gritted teeth. I don't need you to be all fucking violent towards me. I didn't do shit.
You're right. You've had a rough time. I'm sorry.
need you to calm
You know
down.
what? I'll step it back. You're right.
Normally,
Please.
I'm fucking getting to it. Give me a goddamn second to catch my bearings and try and figure out a time frame for you. I don't have his goddamn schedule memorized, but I would say if I had to guess, he'll probably be down here in 10, 15 minutes. He probably just took a piss or something. I don't know.
10, 15 minutes.
That's what I would say.
Can you fight?
Can I fight? I've been down here for a couple months. I mean, if I had a gun, sure, but I ain't winning no fist fights. It's not like they feed you well. My protein's a little low right now, unless you count the maggots.
I mean, that's good protein.
Yeah, I guess. Moldy
Decent
bread
amount
and
of
maggots.
fat. That's penicillin. Well, ain't doing too bad, huh?
Maybe that's why I'm not dead yet, because I've been eating penicillin.
Penicillin. Gross. While we're having this conversation, Felita's going to sit there and try and dig that nail out of the bench.
Okay. How would you like to try and dig the nail out of the bench? So imagine that the flat end is flush with the wood, but the other end is what's exposed, the other end being the sharp, pointy end.
Is it where the butt joint has connected the foot of the bench to the top of the bench?
It looks like it's like maybe even like a corner hit or something or it's like just below the top rung. So yeah, so like you're guessing there's it's some sort of joint, something like that, I would say.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn the bench over and I'm gonna lever that joint apart.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna turn the bench back over so that the flat part of the bench where the nail is sticking out, the head of the nail, I'm gonna push against the flat part of the board and push the nail out.
Well, strength first.
Okay.
For the first part.
I do it. It's a 21.
Yeah, you do it very easily. You stress it out, and it gives you a little bit of leeway on the nail, and then you do what? You flip it back over, and what now?
And I put the point of the nail on the ground, and I press the flat part of the bench down so that I can push the nail. I can use the ground to push the nail out of the bench.
So yeah, so it pushes it out about an inch. So you can now get at the lippy lip.
Wiggle it.
Yeah. So you're just going to wiggle it until it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, it'll take you a little bit of time, but since it's kind of wet rotted wood, you do notice that you can wiggle that thing enough to get it all the way out. Now you have a rusty nail. And you put it in your pocket and you notice that you still have your 2 dice in there.
Oh.
You don't have any of your other items. Somebody took those. All your weapons are gone, but now you got but for whatever reason, you left the 2 dice.
Huh.
Perhaps they don't see them. Like maybe that's a just you thing. But yeah, it's not more than a minute later, you hear the guards sort of straighten up and and you hear a walking coming down the hallway, and around the corner comes Smiling Tom with a little bench, like he's carrying a little wooden bench, and he just sets it in the middle of the space between the cells, directly in front of your cell. He sets it down, and he sits on the bench. He's like, Felita. I'm guessing you made a deal with a certain individual with a fiery disposition.
What gave it away?
Well, the fact that
Is it the fact that there's no spike up my ass anymore?
I was going to say that, yeah. I seem to recall impaling you on a spike on top of a hill and watching the buzzards eat your entrails. And here you are having this lovely conversation with me. Can't help but notice that. So then I get to thinking, well, how is it somebody I killed could be, popping back up? And then I thought, oh, my dear old buddy from way down south probably cut a deal with you guys. I'm assuming. That's what I would do if I was him. But to be fair... Oh, sorry. I'll let you... Sorry about that.
I was just going to say, if you already know what happened, then what are you here asking me about?
Well, it's not really asking for that so much. I just want to... You know what? I feel like I might have misjudged you the first time around. Your first time around, before I shoved a spike up your butt. You see, I thought you were just sort of chaotic, random, just doing whatever it is you want to do, which, doesn't really fly too well when we're trying to have some rules and things like that. And I understand, you don't like authority. Me neither. I'm not a big fan of it. Somebody's got to be in charge, obviously. But I think I understand you a little bit better now. And I want to come to a better understanding, and I want to make a deal with you.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, you haven't heard my proposal yet. Felita, it's been my understanding you kind of always wanted to have things your own way. Call the shots, so to speak. Am I right about that?
Doesn't everybody?
Sure. But not everybody offers somebody the keys to the kingdom, so to speak. That's what I want to offer you. I want to offer you keys to all this. Everything's yours. Hand it right over to you.
And why the fuck would you do that?
And he snaps his fingers at the other guards that are still in the area, tells them get the fuck out, and they leave. And I don't know if you know this about me, Felita, because I don't really like to gossip about who I am or where I came from or anything like that. But I'm pretty old. How old do you think I am? Would you think by looking at me? How old do you think I is?
I don't know, like 60.
Well, if you add a few more zeros on there, you'd be closer. I'm pushing about 50-ish thousand years old at this point. Okay. Pick a country, I've almost ruled all of them. You know, I've been around. The West is just the most recent place I ended up. So, it ain't nothing for me to pass the kingdom on that I've created to somebody else, such as yourself, so you can do with it as you please. That's how it worked with all the other kingdoms. I gave it to somebody else, and they took over. So I'm offering you the same kind of a deal. I'll give you everything. You'll be the new... I mean, you obviously have your own name, but you'd be the new Smiling Tom, so to speak. And I would just into, history or whatever you want to call it, and you never see me again. Nobody around here would ever see me again. Doesn't that sound like a pretty nice deal?
Not till you get your next kingdom, right?
Well, my next kingdom, but it won't be anywhere near here. It'll be something worlds away. Hell, it might even be in another dimension. You don't know.
Why do you think that I would be interested in this?
Well, you just said it. You want to run. You want to run the show. I'm offering you a way to run the show with no issues whatsoever. While he's talking to you, he's not threatening, but you see that he's just cleaning his like he took his gun apart and he's just cleaning the parts, which is a fairly standard thing for people to do because they fucking got the sand and everything. They don't fire properly. So that's just what he's doing to fiddle while he's talking to you. Like I said, he's not doing it in a threatening way. He just has it sort of laid out on his lap and he's just cleaning each part with a brush and going through that whole tedious thing. So that's just what he's doing while he's talking to you.
Oh, can I roll, like, perception or something to see if he's being genuine?
That would be insight.
Insight, yeah. Ooh, even better. That's a 24?
He is being 100% genuine with you.
Oh, shit.
You don't sense any deception in his offer anyways. Though you feel, there's a catch. Because there hasn't been anything in it for him yet. He's just been giving you your side. He hasn't been giving you anything for him yet. So he's just sitting there quietly cleaning his gun, waiting for you to respond with something.
And Felita's just she's gonna stick her hand in her pocket and sort of touch her die.
Okay.
Touch her dice a little.
Feel him vibrate a little bit.
Yeah.
And you notice when you do that, Smiling Tom glances up from cleaning his gun, and a little
immediately fingers off.
Tiny little sliver of a grin stretches across his face, just a little bit, not too much, because his face will split open and it'll start bleeding. But you just notice and he sort of while he's cleaning his gun.
What are you getting out of this?
That's why I said I wanted to make a deal with you. We could work together, and I could just go on my merry way. What I am proposing, and that's the reason why I took you. I didn't take your compatriots because they don't mean anything to me. They got nothing that they can offer me aside from more annoyances, which is why I killed them in the first place. Why are you even putting yourself with Clancy? That is the most evil sumbitch I have ever met in my entire life, and I've killed men, women, children, all that jazz. Clancy, he's the worst, okay? The worst sumbitch I've ever met. Okay, I'm just saying. That's a dark motherfucker right there.
I've seen the world under your rule.
Yeah, you don't want to see it under Clancy, I can tell you that.
That might be, but you ain't no fucking better.
Well, agree to disagree. Anyways, what I'm trying to get at here is that you are special compared to them. And the reason why you're here is because, well, you, as you already know, have severed my little connection to death, which means I am, yet again, mortal, which I have not been in quite a long time. Sort of refreshing, I would say, to not have that little shield looking over me, so to speak. However, it doesn't really behoove me to keep it that way. I don't know how long I would remain, consider I'm, as old as I am. But You, however, do happen to have a good buddy of yours who's a very powerful entity, and I could use in a certain way. You want to bring a certain individual, I believe you call him Wonder, into this world, and I want you to bring Wonder into this world. All I ask is I get a little piece of that action.
What would you do?
Oh, I would make a deal with Wonder for immortality again. Because Wonder, he outranks that little sucker that is down below that you already made a deal with. As he's already told you, I'm sure, gods trump demons and all that jazz. So, so that's all I'm asking for. I just want the opportunity to work with Wonder and, get my free pass, so to speak, back. Then I'll go on my merry way. You can do with this world as you please. In fact, if you don't even want me to rule anywhere in this world, I'll go to another one. Whatever. Because there are other worlds. I don't know if you know about that or not. There's probably probably a lot of things.
I've been in a hell dimension for a while. I figured there's more than just two.
There you go. Well, see, that's why I like you. You're much smarter than the rest of these fucking ding-dongs that I got around here.
How do you propose to strike a deal with Wonder?
Well, I figured you would
and
facilitate.
have them keep it.
Have Wonder keep it?
Yeah.
Well, being as old as I am and having the interactions that I've had, I understand that gods tend to keep their word. They're kind of bound. You laugh. I know it sounds ridiculous, but there's a certain order to things in this universe, and they have rules that they have to follow. Even gods got rules they got to follow, and if they make a deal, verbal or written or otherwise, they have to keep it. Now, we as individuals are not bound by them same laws, which is why I basically crossed the old devil in the back and shot him, and now he's scared to death of me. Now, I would not do the same to Wonder, but I did do it to the old devil because he wanted to take me, off to his little plane of existence or whatever. And I'm not about that kind of life. So that's what I'm offering you. I basically want you to facilitate a deal for me with Wonder in exchange for immortality again, and then, you can have what you want at that point. You can rule over everything. You be in charge. You be the new Smiling Tom, and then if you want me to go to a different continent, I do that. You want me to go to a different plane of existence, I do that. Whatever. Doesn't matter to me. I'll have what I want at that point.
I don't know if I can set it up, but I can try.
All right. Well, I'll give you it's getting pretty late anyway, so what I'll do is I'll give you the rest of the night to think about it, and then I'll come back in the morning and we'll see what you have to say. Savvy?
Sounds absolutely fantastic, Tom.
Great, Felita. It's been a long time. I've missed our little chats. Okay? You were always a quick tongue, pistol. Just wham. Don't take shit from no one. I always liked that about you. And I apologize again for, the whole shoving us back up your butt and all that stuff. But, hey, bygones be bygones and all that. I'm sure if you were in my position, you'd probably do the same thing. I've seen.
Oh, I'd absolutely shove a spike up your ass.
Exactly. See, I've seen you do some things. Pretty funny things, if I might add. But anyways, and he's already finished cleaning his gun. He's put it back together. He puts it in his holster, and he folds up the little nice cloth and puts it in his pocket. And he picks up the stool. He's like, well, I'll be back in the morning to chat further. And he tips his hat at you, and then he walks away.
As soon as he's clear, Felita's going to start wrapping a length of rope around her fist.
Okay.
And put that nail, sort of in her...
Knuckle? Or the rope?
Yeah. Yeah. So she's going to put the flat side of the nail against her knuckle. Mm-hmm. And then wrap the rope around it so it stays in place.
Okay. Roll me a survival check to makeshift this weird murder weapon.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. 15.
Okay. You do a pretty decent job. You've never had to do it this way before, and it's pretty makeshift with what you got, but you do a pretty passable job of creating a punch of death. And as you create this weapon, that is where we're going to take a break. Hello, listeners. It is I, Dennis, the world's most okayest DM, here to talk to you about patreon.com/botched podcast. Now, as I'm sure you're aware, we have, Discord access and bi-weekly episodes that are not related to the show, but instead just fun one-offs. In fact, one of the more recent ones we did for March was I don't actually know what Steve was planning for it to be, but I know what it turned into, which was like a Pulp Fiction meets breakfast cereal mascots sort of thing. You know what? Here's a clip.
Is there anything larger and sharper in this room?
Like a paper cutter?
All right. What kind of a roll do you want me to sever a bear's head with a fucking wrist knife?
With a letter opener.
Survival.
Yeah, it was definitely weird. The other thing I want to talk about is one of our higher tiers, the $50 a month bi-weekly gaming session with some of us, the Botch crew, and then also other patrons. We actually have 2 games going right now. One, I believe, is full up, although we could probably fit somebody in. That's, Steve and myself and some of the other patrons. They're currently doing Curse of Lestrade, I think, if memory serves me right. But please, if somebody wants to join the $50 level and convince us not to do that, I'm fine with it. The other one is Philip. He is DMing his own campaign set in the Fallout universe, and he's using the Fallout RPG guidebook. So if you want to be a part of that group, sign up for $50 a month, and you can join either one of those groups, whatever meets your fancy. So head on over to patreon.com/botchedpodcast to subscribe to that, or check out the other rewards we have. All right, back to the show. And we're back. All right, so you now have this punchy, kind of weakish punching dagger of sorts, but you have that now. What are you doing?
Are the guards back yet?
So it looks like only 2 of the guards came back, so it doesn't look like all 4. So they didn't go all the way to the end. It's just the 2 that are sitting at the entrance.
Did the one that sassed me come back?
Well, he's looking at you.
Right.
He's just handling that fucking beating stick on his waist. He's just playing with it, just rubbing it. He's just like, I can't wait to fuck with shit.
Felita's gonna lean her head against the bar and sort of slap any of the bars and make a noise and be like, "Little bird."
He's like, that's it. My time's gone. I do what I want now. And the other guy's like, I don't know.
Come on, little bird.
He's like, I don't know if that's a good idea, Clint. I don't know. He's just like, fuck you. And he goes over quickly and he starts fucking fiddling with the keys. He's like, oh, you think you're funny? I'm gonna beat shit out of you.
Is he standing outside the?
Yeah, he's fiddling with the keys, trying to figure out which one goes in the lock.
I'm gonna reach through and grab his wrist.
Okay. Grapple.
Okay. Dirty 20.
Nat 1. Hold on. Not my death die.
Oh no.
Nothing bad. You just obviously have grabbed his wrist, and he's like, oh. Get your fucking hands off me before he's like, he's trying to, he can't even reach for the stick because he's got his hands on the keys, and you've grabbed the hand that's there, so it's awkward for him. He can't reach around and grab his beating stick. Get the fuck off me.
I'm gonna put my hand up at eye level and pull him to the bar.
Okay. So you do that. So you just put your hand up like, hey, buddy, and you can see that his eyes go wide, which is probably not a great idea, because then you yank him, and the nail, you can feel it through your fist. The nail pierce his eye, and it's like piercing a grape. And then you feel. And by the way, you brought this on yourself, so
I know.
You did this shit. So now you're gonna.
I needed a soft spot.
Well, you found a soft spot, and it feels very soft as the wet juices of the eye are leaking onto your fist, along with the blood and whatnot. And he's just screaming, "Ah, my fucking eye! Ah!" And like
Can I try and snatch the keys?
Yes. Well, question. So one of your hands is on his wrist to hold him in place, and the other one is currently in his eye. Which are you letting go of to grab at something? By the way, you got one action before the other guy probably runs over, since there was a scream.
I hate this so much. I'm gonna let go of his wrist.
Okay. So you let go of his wrist, and he's just shaking uncontrollably which just causes more of that eye jelly to leak out, and it's like soaking into the rope so you can feel it. It's on your skin. It's very warm. It's gross.
Yeah, Dennis. It is Dennis.
You did it.
I
You
know.
did it. Don't blame me. You did it. I wasn't going to just be like, oh, you poke it. No, we're going into detail. And you're pretty sure even if you pulled that nail slowly out of his eye, that he'd probably have tetanus or something, because it's all the way in there, and it's probably rust and all kinds of nasty shit on this nail. So you reach and the keys are in the lock, so yeah, you can grab them and still have his face impaled on this nail. So
Sweet.
That's what you're doing.
Yeah, if they're in the lock, I'm going to try and pop it open.
Okay, so yeah, you can easily turn it. So that'll be your turn, unless you also want to do a movement of some type. Like push open the bar or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you push open the door, at which point that guard is making his way over, so roll me initiative.
Sweet.
Okay, but we're not using that dice anymore. Roll a 1 and then I rolled a 4.
I got a 13.
You go first.
I'm going to... So the door is between me and this guard that I just punched his eyeball out.
Yes.
Right?
So basically it's like you put the bars in, he's on the other side of the bars, and then the guy's coming from the other direction as well. So you have like a little bit of a wall between you, I would say. Now, obviously, you could go around the door, but for right now, this is between you.
I'm going to reach through and try and take the keys out.
Okay.
And if I do, then I'm going to toss them to the guy who's standing.
The guy's... Oh, you mean the prisoner?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, you could toss him.
Okay.
Anything else? You can move.
No, I'm going to brace myself against that door.
Okay. So you toss it to the other guy. Now, the guard, let's see if he saw the keys fly through the air. He didn't. I can't stop rolling single digits.
Hooray.
Rolled a 2, so he didn't see shit. So he's just rushing towards you, club out. He's going to run around the corner of the door to try and get at you. Okay, that's better. He's definitely going to hit you with his billy club.
Fuck.
You are going to take an amount of damage. All right, so you feel him just hit you across the side of your face, and your face hurts a lot in like one straight line of spot, I would say. It doesn't feel like he broke your jaw or anything, but it definitely hurt like hell as he hit you across the head. And he's going to attack again. And miss, because I rolled a fucking 3. So he attacks you twice. And he's like, get back in the cell! God damn it! Fucking Clint, I told you, you stupid son of a bitch! Clint is going to shake uncontrollably yet again with his turn, since he's kind of stunned, which just causes more jelly to fall out onto your fingers and hands. And you feel it now. It's starting to like slink down your wrist a little bit, so now it's going further and further down your hand, so you get more of his eye goop and some blood. It's like bloody, clear jelly rolling down your hands and wrist. So yeah, so that's all Clint does. So then it's back around to you.
I'm gonna pull the nail out.
Okay.
And I'm gonna turn to the new guard, and I'm gonna punch him, give him 2 body shots.
Okay. Roll me 2 attacks.
Sweet. So plus strength, that is a 16.
That will hit. Barely.
And the next one is also a 16.
They both hit, just barely.
Sweet.
So this is going to be damage-wise a D4 plus strength.
Okay. Cool. So the first one is a 4, and the second one is a 3.
Okay.
So 7.
So you punch this guy kind of like in the gut twice, just pop, pop. And you definitely feel the nail puncture in past the clothing and the armor that he has on, and just goes right in his guts, and you can feel it. It's like punching a watermelon with it kind of feels like that, like stabbing a watermelon a little bit. And so you hit him, pop, pop, and the guy goes, ah, ah, each time. And you feel the blood rolling out on your hand. Your hand's very gross right now. It's covered in all kinds of bodily fluids. And that's going on. The other gentleman who you threw the keys to has finally unlocked his cell. And quarterback throws the keys to the next cell, and he misses horribly because he's very malnourished. But he runs over, and he's going to try and grapple that guard, I would say. Probably not going to go great because he's so malnourished. But he's going to try. He loses to the guard very badly. He puts his arms around him. He's like, yeah, it's going to get you. And the guard's just like, is there like a breeze hitting me right now? Like, what is happening? Said guard will then be up. And said guard will attack you again with the billy club twice.
Okay.
I rolled the exact same 2 die as I did the last time. So he's going to hit you with the club again. Hits you again, this time in the shoulder with the club. And it definitely hurt. Your shoulder's very, very sore right now, but you don't feel as though anything's broken. And what's-his-face finally falls down and just convulses on the ground since he's, Clint. He's just on the ground. It's back around to you.
Okay. I'm gonna. Can I? Let's see. I'm gonna try and go for that billy club.
You're feeling a little rattle in your pocket, by the way.
Oh.
Remember, one of them can be used in combat.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah. Yeah, I feel that rattle. And I stop going for the billy club instantly and dig my hand in my pocket.
Okay. Which dice would you like to pull out?
I'm gonna pull them both.
Okay. So the one dice is used when you go to attack. The other one is the random, so roll me a d12.
I got a 10.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Okay. Suddenly an image goes into your mind, and you have to punch with the nail the right hand of the other prisoner. Like, you basically have to push that guy out of the way and just punch that ally right in the hand with your nail.
Oh, I hate that. All right. Yeah. So I push the guard out of the way, and I grab the other prisoner's hand, and I'm like, after this, you get the fuck out. And I punch him right in the hand.
Okay. Roll me a d4 damage.
God, I hate that. It's 3.
The guy starts screaming because you literally stab him in the hand with the nail. He's just like, why? Why would you do that? And all of a sudden, you feel a newfound sort of strength sort of fill you up. And now you really want to use your other attack on the guardy guard. So if you want to roll your attack, the special die with it, you can. That d6 will have advantage, and so will your attack.
Okay. That's good. Okay. So that's a 21.
Hits.
Oh, should I save my d6? Yeah. No, I'm saving my d6. I might kill that guy. I might kill the prisoner. I don't want to do it.
Well, you have advantage with it if you use it now because of the boon.
Okay. Yeah, thank God. Oh my God.
You rolled a 1 into something else?
Yeah. 3.
3. So
Jesus.
you actually miss your attack. So you get all pumped up and you're just like, fuck you! And you go to hit this guard, and it feels as though this punch would liquefy this guard's head. And instead, you punch the bar directly behind him, the joint behind him. The nail that you had is obliterated, but you punch a giant dent in the bars of the wall, and you notice that the bars, it sort of reverberates through the bars, and the wall itself cracks, and some of the rock falls down a little bit. So yeah, you hit that fucking wall really, really hard. And it looks like there's like a basketball-sized hole in the wall, along the wall, that's just sort of opened up. It's been cracked because of this. So yeah,
Sweet.
So then it'll be your buddy's turn, who, let's see, what will he do? He's very confused. I rolled a nat 20. Okay, so he's just going to be like, you and I are going to have words about this afterwards, but goddamn.
Yes, sir, I completely understand. I'm sorry.
He misses his first attack, and then he decides to punch the guard with the other attack, which he deals a little bit of damage. He doesn't have any weapons, so he just punches him. The guard will be up and is going to try and attack you with he's a little alarmed at the strength that you just showed by punching like the bar. What's your AC? I guess I have it written down.
Oh shit, I got, well, it doesn't matter. 13, I think.
Okay, so yeah, both hits, both will hit you.
Yeah.
All right, so it feels like this time, so he's hitting you in the back with the club. You definitely feel as though like your shoulder blade is cracked a little bit. Like this is starting to hurt a little bit. You cough up a little bit of blood. You're not feeling great. You just don't feel very good right now. And it's your turn again.
I'm gonna unwrap the rope
Okay.
from my wrist and try and grapple him with it around the neck.
Okay. This will be less of a, let's roll attack first.
Okay.
Since you're basically trying to garrote him.
That's a 19.
Okay, that will hit. So you manage to quickly wrap the rope around his neck. So now give me a grapple check to see if you can outstrength him to strangle him.
Okay.
Probably.
A 15.
Yes. So you have wrapped the rope around his neck and you're holding it tight, and he's reaching, he's clawing at it, and he's dropped the billy club. It bounces on the ground with a cling, 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 and he's just roll. Now, do you just want to slowly try and choke him out, or do you want to try and do something quick to him? How would you like to proceed?
I don't.
I will say, if you go the slow route, he will then have a chance every round to get out of it. Whereas if you do something quick, he could get out if you fuck it up, or you insta-kill him.
Okay. Yeah, then I'm gonna try and do it quick.
Okay.
I'm gonna sort of brace my feet against the bars and sort of curl myself in and do a little shimmy, like a little shake, and try and crack his neck.
Roll me a strength check.
Okay. It's a 17.
With a 17, so yeah, you put your feet up against the bars, and like they're vertically on the bars, and you're starting to shimmy up the bars, and the guard he's not really paying attention to what you're doing so much because he's more distracted with the fact that he's being choked to death. You get about a foot, maybe 2 feet up off the ground, and then you just tuck your knees in and pull down hard, and you feel the neck just snap as you hit the ground, and his head jerks forward, and the body just goes limp immediately. And so, yeah. And then the guy, he's huffing and puffing, the other guy, the inmate. He's just like, why the fuck did you punch my hand with a nail?
I had to do it. I had to do it.
What do you mean
You
you
ever
had
have
to
things
do
that
it?
you just have to do? You have to do them, and I had to do it.
You're a crazy person.
Yes.
God damn it. And so he picks up the keys that he tried to throw, and he's letting each person out. He's like, well, now what do we do?
Can I investigate the hole in the wall while he's letting people out?
Sure. You also feel as though the dice is jingling in your pocket again.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but you can investigate the hole. Roll me a perception check.
I got a nat 20 on that roll.
Okay. So you get close to the hole, and it feels as though there's a strong breeze that blows through this hole. It's got a very musty smell to it. Almost gives you an eerie feeling. The hair on the back of your neck starts to stand up. But as you approach the hole and look in, it looks as though it's a staircase. So it appears as though this wall was sealed up at some point. And it looks like it's a spiraling staircase that goes down.
Does it look like there's any way for me to break the hole a little bit more and get in there?
If you get some weapons, maybe you could. The stone is pretty thick. It's about like a foot. So you can either try and strength it. It's going to be a very high roll because it's stone. You could try and get some weapons, though you're not going to have an infinite amount of time because eventually more guards are going to show up. You also don't want to make a ton of noise because, again, guards are going to show up. So,
Okay.
yeah. That dice just keeps on jangling in your pocket.
Sure. I'll pull it out.
Okay. And it's really hot in your hand. Like
Ooh.
it's just like it's giving you a little come and roll me, come and roll me, come and roll me, come and roll me. And it's literally just vibrating in your hand, and it feels like it's almost burning a hole in your palm because it's so hot.
I think Felita's just going to stare at it for a second
Okay.
and feel that burn and then just tip her hand.
Okay. Roll me D12.
5.
So the dice hits the ground, and it's like someone took a sledgehammer and hit the ground, and then it bounces perfectly back up and into your hand, and it lands on the 5. Roll me a D6.
4.
Okay. All of a sudden, you get this impulse to run headlong into the wall that's across from the entrance to the cells. Like, as fast as you can. Do not block it. Just run as fast and as hard as you can into the wall. Like when you were brought in originally, there's like that little T intersection. You're just supposed to run right into that fucking wall. Face first.
All right. She's going to just immediately take off, and as she's running, she's going to get the fuck out the way.
The guy's like, what the fuck is happening? Roll me a con check to make sure that you don't try and, like, block or guard damage.
Let's see. That's a 15 on the die plus 4, 19.
Okay. What's your strength modifier?
Plus 2.
Plus 2? Okay, roll me a d4 plus 2.
6.
Okay. You run just face first into this wall, and it hurts like hell. You definitely have broken your nose. It's definitely turned in a direction that it doesn't normally. You can feel the warmth of blood rolling down over your lips because you've broken your fucking nose, and you feel like you're in even worse shape than you were previously. Even your chest and everything is sore because you ran into this so hard. And you feel as though your one pocket's kind of full. Your opposite pocket from where the dice normally lives.
Okay. I'm going to reach into that pocket.
It feels like it's stuffed. And you pull out this set of gloves that had disappeared previously. And they are very, very bulky. What is your strength score again? Your total?
14.
14. Okay. You feel like this little snicker, this little on the wind, and you feel a little bulkier. Your strength score is now 16.
Oh.
Permanently.
Oh.
And you can now put on the gloves. Now, these gloves are very heavy duty. You know, they got a little, so they're made of some type of leather, you're guessing, though you're not sure what creature they hail from. And the inside of the gloves is a very nice, soft, kind of like fur. And there are straps around the wrist so that you can keep them on your wrist or whatever. But the palms themselves look like they're just the heaviest duty of gloves. And you just feel strong when you're wearing these suckers. So yes, you now have your giant kind gloves back. And if you recall, giant kind gloves make you basically pick up rocks and throw them as a 2d6 weapon, and it also gives you advantage on strength checks.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I'm writing it down. Sweet.
So yeah, any like softball-sized piece of rock that you can find, you can throw it as a thrown weapon, and it deals 2d6 plus your strength damage as a ranged attack.
Cool. Are there any such rocks?
There are some rocks that fell out of the wall.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab those rocks.
Okay, you do. You palm it. As you palm the rock, it almost feels like it cracks and reshapes into a more manageable ball of death that you just created, like a cannonball almost. It's not perfectly smooth or anything like that, but it's definitely better than the chunk of rock that it was before.
Ooh.
Yes.
Do I hear? I'm gonna listen and see if I hear anybody coming down the stairs.
Oh, you mean from?
Or into the cell room.
No, not yet. It's only been about a minute, so your guess is you probably have about 5, 10, 15 minutes before somebody else is going to show up.
Okay.
Meanwhile, the other prisoner has released the few other people, though they're all very emaciated and weak. And they're just like, all right, well, what do we do now?
Y'all know a way to get out of here?
Yeah, the way you came in.
That's it?
That's it. It's the only way in or out.
Fuck. What about the torture room?
There's no exit in it.
I would assume there's no exit. Yeah, that was a pretty dumb question, actually, come to think of it, because if you're torturing somebody, you don't really want them to get out.
Now, Felita, you know there's another exit because you just saw it.
Yeah.
But they don't know that.
Yeah. Yeah. Do any of them look pretty small?
They're all very small because of they're all emaciated. They're very skinny.
I'm gonna cast... Ooh, shit. I'm gonna cast Beacon of Hope on all the prisoners.
What's that do?
It bestows hope and vitality. So I choose any number of them within range, and for the duration, they each have advantage on wisdom saving throws and death saving throws, and regains a maximum number of hit points from any healing.
Okay. They definitely feel better about themselves. They're like, you know what? We can survive this. We can make it, guys. We just have to have hope and a can-do attitude.
Yeah.
Now what?
Do they look like they need some healing?
I mean, you look like you need some healing.
Yeah.
But they probably could use some type of healing. They're more weak than anything else. It's like their max hit points have diminished over time.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Less so that they have wounds. I mean, they do have some wounds, but like you would guess that they're just weak from lack of nourishment.
Okay. All right. Lack of nourishment, you say?
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting that you should say that. Because where is it? I am going to, this is stupid. I'm going to cast Create Food and Water.
Okay. All of a sudden, a feast appears in the cell. And bowls of water, clean water, to which they're like, oh, our savior. And they just start gorging themselves on all this
Hey,
food.
go slow. You're going to make yourself throw up. Come on now. Be sensible.
I don't know the next time if I'm ever going to eat food like this again.
If we can get out of here, you can eat.
We haven't heard a plan yet.
We're going to try and go through my hole.
What? Excuse me. Miss?
And I'm going to throw one of those rocks at the wall near the hole.
Okay.
And try and break a bigger piece. Try and get a bigger hole.
Roll an attack.
Let's see. That's a 15 on the die. So 18?
Yeah, it's going to hit. So 2d6 plus your strength.
9.
Okay. So
yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah. I forgot my modifier went up. So
you throw this rock. It hits the wall, and the wall shatters, and the rocks explode inward, and you can hear them down the steps.
Sweet.
And they're like, "Well, we should." Oh shit! There's stairs down here. We should go down the stairs.
That's what I think too. But if you don't want to, you ain't got to.
They're already down. They're already down the stairs.
Sweet.
Just fucking going. Just taking off.
Mouthfuls of food.
Yeah. Taking off down the stairs. Are you also going down the stairs?
I'm gonna listen for a second and see if any of them get killed by a trap.
It doesn't sound like any of them are getting killed by a trap. Though they are going down the stairs very, very slowly because they can't see anything because it's pitch black down there.
Oh, okay.
And you hear like this, when I say howling, I mean more like wind, less like wolf. Like this, just this air current moving up the stairs towards you. And you just keep getting hit with this stale air. It just smells like a mausoleum. Like stale death. But yeah, so that hits you as you... Are you going down the stairs?
Yeah.
Okay. So you start in down the stairs, and you hear this, and you turn around and look, and the wall is repairing itself, and all the rocks go back into place, and then torches on the wall light up with this bluish, greenish light, and they light the entire way. And this staircase is winding and turning downwards. And you go down the stairs for what feels like hours. You just keep going down and down and down. This has to be hundreds, if not thousands of feet at this point. Your legs are starting to get tired because you've been doing this for so damn long. But eventually, you make your way down the stairs, and it opens. It seems like you are in an antechamber of sorts, and there's like an archway that's open, and you can kind of see what's out there, but you can't really see too well from back where the stairs are. So if the people who have come down with you, they're like scared shitless, and they're all hanging back towards the stairs, kind of cowering at this point.
Okay. I'm gonna listen and see if I hear anything that sounds scary, and then if I don't, I'm just gonna walk forward.
Okay. Roll me perception.
Of course, that's when you fuck me. Oh, that's not too bad. It's an 11.
Would you fuck me? I'd fuck me.
I'd fuck me.
So with an 11, it's just average. You just keep hearing this wailing, howling noise of wind. You don't hear anything else. Everything is very echoey. So you move forward, and when you exit, or at least get close to the end of the antechamber, you notice that this opens up into a gigantic open cavern of sorts. But it's not really a cavern. It looks like this is a very, very detailed city. This is what appears to be an abandoned city of some sort. The architecture is unlike anything you've ever seen. It's very Gothic in style, you would say. And there are castle structures along the walls built up, and you see walkways and passageways and things like that all jutting through the middle area, and it looks like it stretches down even further. And as you look down, you notice that sconces keep lighting, so this entire city is slowly lighting up. And as it lights up, you get to see more and more of this whole thing. And it looks like it's in a completely abandoned and derelict city. But you notice as the lights keep going and going and going, and you can see further and further and further, eventually you notice this giant swirling ball of what appears to be energy. And it's encased in almost like a gyrosphere of sorts. You can see through it. It's not moving or anything like that. And the sphere looks like it has chains going off of it. 6 chains, but you can't really make out a whole lot of other details than that. But you would guess the size of this thing is probably like 1 or 2 of the cities that you've seen like above ground. Like just the sphere itself. This thing is fucking big. The size of the city itself is bigger than anything you've ever seen before. Like it dwarfs anything above ground that you've ever been to. Like it's not even close. This thing seems way more advanced, seems way bigger. You're not sure. You do see all over the place skeletons. Just skeletons fucking everywhere. You also see a lot of rats. There are a bunch of rats running around. But other than that, you don't see anything. And you do hear a noise, finally. Off to your left, there's a walkway. And you hear this wumma, 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 wumma sound. And are you going to follow it, or are you going to do something else?
Does it look like there's any other way?
There are other walkways. You could go otherwise. You don't have to follow this.
All right. I hate it when you fucking do this, Dennis. You know that I'm curious as shit.
Oh, you can't see me. Sorry, I forgot you can't see me. I'm just smiling.
Yeah, I can't. I can't see you, you son of a bitch. I don't wanna. Jenna doesn't wanna. Felita's like, what's that? Yeah, she's gonna go look.
Okay. So as you make your way in that direction, you notice that the sconces keep... It's like rails almost on this walkway. The walkway's all made of stone, but the rails, I should say, are made of metal. And there's sconces, and that bluish-greenish light keeps lighting up. And as they go, you notice that what illuminates is it looks like some sort of temple, and it looks like the winged figure of death is just all plastered over this temple. And the doorway itself is just made of skulls, and there are carvings in a language that you do not recognize all over the sides of this thing. Lots of skeletons on the outside of this thing just laying around. But the door is cracked open, it looks like, and you see a pale light that's not the bluish-greenish light of the torches that's sort of seeping out from underneath the doorway, stretching out a little bit. And you're pretty sure that's where that whoop whoop noise is coming from. Keep going? Okay. So you go over, and this door's heavy as fuck, but you pull it open. It slides open. And it is definitely a temple, because there are almost, you would guess they're pews of some sort, but there are just piles of skeletons everywhere. But also it looks like something was in here, because there are gouges out of the walls, pillars, the floor. It doesn't look like scratches necessarily, but it's just gouged out in certain places, and the skeletons are not all whole. Some of them are ripped apart. And so when you go in here, you have your pews in the middle, and then there are the pillars on the side, and there are also all these different sculptures and depictions of death along the sides. Some of the some of the statues appear to have been broken and shattered or gouged as well. And then at the end, you see this gigantic statue of death. And under it is an archway, and this swirling, it's like a grayish, whitish, sort of like a milky blue light. It's like rippling around, and you notice all of a sudden just these four individuals just fall out of it. And as these individuals fall out of this thing, whatever it is, it's like they were birthed out of it. That is what we're going to call it. So thanks for tuning in. Check us out next time.
You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Spotify, TikTok, Reddit, and Twitch at Botched Podcast. This episode of Botched was brought to you by the Patreon producers: the OG Lone Ranger Big Jim, the Nuck, Lord Chronic Skinner, B-Mal, Shanda Panda, Disgruntled Furniture, Chris Wisdom, Lost Limey, Scabby Goose, Zukari, and Old Swampy. You want to support the show, you can go to many doofuses over at freedomvalleyhorsespace.com, dickblood.me, dickblood.club, cornhub.icu, sexwithwookies.com, pigrickets.com, mookmolk.com, buytheseviagra.com, louisianapocketgopher.com, damnyoudennis.com, birdswithpenises.com, or simply patreon.com/Botch Podcast, like our newest patron, Oh Schwambayosh. Thanks for upping your pledge. Can't support us financially, but still really want to help the show out and help us get more advertisers and more things. The best thing you can do is head to Apple Podcast and leave us a 5-star review. Look, guys, we've been saying it since day one. I know there's a few of you out there. It takes 5 minutes to even reset your Apple Podcast password. And it helps the show immensely, since we spend so much fucking time on the show for you that you get, for free. The best way to repay the show is to get off your lazy fucking ass, change your password, and leave us a 5-star review on iTunes, and Chonky will read it out on the show. Thank you to Gozer for our intro and outro music. More of them all over the internet at Gozer_music or on Spotify, where their album is dropping in a couple weeks. Thank you to Swan for our album art. You can find her all over the internet at a swan named Emily. You want to send something to the studio, you can do so over at P.O. Box 3178, Gettysburg, Pennsylvania 17325, and we will open it up here on stream. We salute you, Big Jim. You are this episode's Most Wanted. And as always,
when you travel 1,000 miles to record a podcast with the boys, and you're not even in this one, screen botched.
and we'll suck you.
We'll see you next week, nerds.
You can support each of us in our own little different ways. My first comic book has come out, and if you'd like to purchase it, you can head on over to www.hiveheadstudios.com, where you can even download a free sample of the book to see if it's something, up your alley. You can also support me over at patreon.com/hiveheadstudios. You can support Steve's stuff over at YouTube or TikTok or any of his other social media at He Who Is Steve. You can support Phil on Patreon or Twitch at Imaginary Nomad. You can support Jen by checking out her other podcasts like Horse Girls on all your podcatchers. You can also check her out on social media or Twitch at Jenna Chill with one L. And you can check out Chonky every so often on Twitch at Chonky_Kong.
I'm Laundry Steve.
I'm Laundromat Steve.
I'm out of dryer sheets.
Laundromat Steve. I'll suck your dick while your clothes dry.
Give me a pack
Just
of
for a couple quarters.
3/4 in my ass.
My blankets aren't quite dry yet. Let me suck
And
your
some
dick.
fabric softener.
I make it out of my own cum.
No.
It's about the same consistency as detergent. Same color, too.
Cum.
But
I'm detergent coming Steve.
Tide's my favorite.
It burns every time.
It only takes me 2 days to fill up one of them caps.
Hope it doesn't
That's
dry
a
out
hell
by
of a
then.
refractory period.